Welcome to Talk Cancer to Me. Side effects of this podcast may include chemo brain, what we equate to the human version of glitching, inappropriately oversharing, unprofessional lounging, and profanity.
Welcome back to Talk Cancer to Me. Today's episode, Those Who Stayed and Those Who Strayed, is all about navigating friendships after our cancer diagnosis. We'll talk about the people who showed up, our experiences with people who pulled away, and how those shifts shaped our journey. Because when cancer enters the picture, friendships can change in ways that you never would expect. What is one thing a friend did that meant the world to you?
I think for me, it was having friends that really showed up and like sat with me and made plans for the future. I think when you're at your worst, like at the time I was like in bed, basically bedridden, so sick. And so any plans for the future basically seemed impossible. And I had a couple of friends that would either come over or FaceTime, whatever. And we just had like a running list of things that we would do in the future. And of course, like with the caveat that like we don't know when in the future this will be, but it definitely gave me motivation and like something to look forward to. And like, for example, with one of my friends, she lives in Manhattan. So every time I go visit her, we go see a Broadway show. And so we made a list of like every show we wanted to see. And now I'm 3 years out from like the roughest time. And I think we've seen everything we wanted to see. So it did happen. It just took time. And I think for me, like setting goals during the darkest time was so important. So it was really important for me to have people around me who like understood that that's what I needed.
I think for me, what's been most impactful with friends is someone allocating time and being very clear on what they can offer. So for instance, a friend saying maybe during chemo, like, I can come over and walk your dog, which is so helpful for me because it's the last thing I have energy for. Or someone offering to drop off food without the expectation of hanging out. I've had a friend just like offer to clean my car. So really specific, I think, offering very specific things and not leaving room for me to have to ask because I just won't do that. And I think a lot of my friends know that. So I think that's meant a lot to me.
So for me, I think the collective, our nonprofit, really was an eye-opener to like the depth of friendship for me. So two of my friends were on the board last year, and they still play a role in the collective, and I shared the idea with them and they like stepped right in. And ACC Warrior Weekend wouldn't have happened without them. So I just feel like the amount of time that they devoted to, helping me try to raise money to, donate to research said a lot, about the fact that they understood the severity of this disease that I'm battling and that they were like behind me and trying to help find better treatment options. So that to me was like bigger than anything that anyone could really do for me because as a friend, like to devote that much time into something, and it was a lot, as you both know, really, really meant a lot to me.
And shout out to both those friends because we really appreciate them.
I was gonna say, I feel like they became friends to all of us now. Like they're hardcore allies now. Like they're part of us now, for sure.
Yeah. So what is one thing you wish that a friend had done differently?
The hardest thing, it's not one person, it's just I think naturally something that happens, and this goes not just for friends but for family too, but is like all of the questions that you get. I think in the beginning, I think now I'm okay with questions, but in the beginning it's so hard because like you're asking as many questions as you can think of to your oncologist or your team. And then, I'd get on the phone with a friend and they'd be like, oh, like, that's weird. Or like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Did you ask this? Did you ask this? And it's like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. And so one thing that I did that was super helpful to like help Olivia alleviate that is there's this article that was written. I pulled it up so that I remember to reference it, and it's called "How Not to Say the Wrong Thing." And it was written up in the LA Times, and it's actually about when you're going through some type of crisis. A lot of times that's a health crisis, making sure like there's a diagram in the article that's really helpful, but like imagine you're the inner circle, right? And then outside of that, you have like maybe your primary caregiver. And then beyond that, you have like your close friends. And then beyond that, you have, maybe your acquaintances and colleagues. And so the way that this diagram works is that you can only vent outwards, but you need to give support inwards. So everybody in that circle, since I'm at the center, I'm the one experiencing the sickness, should be offering me support. But if you want to vent, don't vent to me because I'm at the center. And don't vent to like my caregiver if you're a colleague because they probably can't handle that. And so just making sure that like you're venting outwards. And along with that, another thing that I did was also had like one or two friends that were kind of like my point person for communicating with the rest of friends. Not all the time, but like when a big change would happen in my treatment or like there was some type of like new information, I would tell one friend so that that friend could deliver the information just to kind of protect me from like a
Yeah.
lot of the other questions. And that's, not to say that anybody did anything wrong. It's just overwhelming. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is like they're trying to show support. And oftentimes they don't realize like the questions they're asking or like the way they're saying things are like, I'm very sensitive about people questioning my oncologist's decisions. So like I don't really need to be hearing all of that. So I think it was really nice to have like a friend as kind of a barrier for things.
Did you implement that like after you read the article? Was that a conversation you had with your
It
friend?
was kind of like we started doing that, and then I think my friend had found the article, and then we started talking about it, and we were like, oh yeah, this diagram is like really helpful. But I think naturally we just started doing that because I was like, I'm really overwhelmed, like talking to everybody, and like I can't get back to them soon enough because like I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So I think also that made everybody feel better knowing like, oh, you can talk to like this friend, and like I can tell you right now, I know there's a group chat of my friends in which I do not exist. And all of my friends, like, we weren't a friend group. Like, I know all of my friends from like various points in my life, but I feel like because of my diagnosis, we kind of became a friend group because now they all know each other and like they were able to support each other through like the really bad times that I was going through.
So for me, I wish that my friends would have shown up for my children a bit more. That actually applies to all types of ships in my case, because, like they're going through it just as much as I am. And there were times where I just really needed to be alone. And as a single mom, like that's hard to come by. So I
Mhm.
needed to be by myself. I needed to cry. I needed to scream. I needed to do all the things. And so that's one thing that I do wish that my friends would have done differently. I have friends with kids, friends without, but my kids are amazing, and I think that n- they would have benefited from that. And so it's not. I guess what I'm saying is, it wasn't for me. It's not just about me. You know what I mean? Like everything I do involves my kids. So yeah, that for me that would have been really, really helpful if my friends had sort of reached out like, "Hey, I take them to the park," or, anything, just something to get them out of the house and give me a little bit time just to process what was going on in my
Mhm.
life at the time.
Did anyone ever offer to do that?
Um, yeah, yeah, more along like my immediate family side. Yeah. So, yeah.
And and just so people listening know too, how old were your kids when you were diagnosed? Like the twins were how old?
Yeah, so Knox and Levi, my twins, were 5. They turned 6 a few days after I found the tumor.
Yeah.
Found the tumor on my oldest son, who's almost 17 next week. Found my tumor on his, well, he was turning 15, so he was 14 that next day he turned 15 when I was actually like when they found it and I was admitted. So Knox and Levi were pretty young, and then also Jalen was going through like this really transitional, like middle school's ugly and hard. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to actually my nanny today about that whole thing with Jalen. Like he's so mature because, he didn't have a choice. He actually went with me yesterday to my scan to the NIH for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah.
And so like I was all emotional about it. But yeah, so they were the twins were young. He was like in that really weird middle school phase and like trying to like accept this massive thing with his mom and then, also trying to figure out who he was. And yeah, like we all needed support, but I think like people are like friends want to help, and we accept help in whatever way we can. But like as for like my kids, I feel like I had to be their support, right? And I'm like falling apart myself. So sometimes, I think just for anybody out there that knows somebody that's a single mom or just a mom period, sometimes it's not even like it might mean more to them to just reach out and say, hey, yeah, let me take the kids for McDonald's or ice cream or whatever, just to give you a moment. Like it can make a really big impact.
Yeah, I think that's really important to hear because I mean, I was talking about just like taking my dog for a walk because I'm exhausted and I don't have kids.
Yeah.
And kids are so much more of a responsibility. So, a responsibility and also like so much energy and love and care that goes into
Yeah.
that being a mom. So, I think it's really important to hear that part of it and how someone could support someone who's a mom or a dad or childcare
Yeah.
provider. Like,
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
I
Yeah.
also imagine like there were days when I was first diagnosed where like I would just cry. And like I don't know how you were in front of your kids, but I imagine like you didn't show them all sides of the cancer. And so like sometimes you just need space to be like, let me have a moment to like unload and just cry in bed for a little bit
Yeah.
without anybody around. So
Yeah, like I remember when I was first diagnosed, I would get up. It was like before the sun came up, and I guess my body got used to it. But I would get up early so that I could literally like bawl and just like fall apart, and then like hop in the shower, try to brush my hair because I couldn't even get through my hair at that point. I hadn't brushed it in so long, but like try to get myself together and then get them ready for school, but I that was like a thing for a very long time, like waking up super duper early so that I could just like fall apart in private and then
yeah.
like put my game face on and get back to it. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a really good suggestion for a lot of people to hear to like help with childcare.
Yeah.
Because you're not the first person I've heard say that. Like it's
Yeah.
hard, especially when they're not of driving age and they have to be driven places. Like a lot of people don't understand that like when you're on treatment, like technically on most treatments you can drive, but like when I was on even Mita, like my depth perception was off and I didn't feel comfortable driving.
Yeah.
So like and you just have days, even if most days you can drive, you still have days where you're like too nauseous to even get in the car.
Something that I feel like multiple friends maybe could have done differently, or still could, is when things have, I think we've all kind of talked about this as well together. But when things are really chaotic, I've had a lot of friends that know how to show up, like in really emergent situations or when I've been in the hospital. I'm also thinking of one friend in particular who will know who she is, but it's okay. I totally love her and we're good. But she showed up when I was in the hospital and she was just like there for everything. I'm even thinking like I had gotten out of surgery and they pulled my catheter too soon. Um, and then they like pumped me full of, they were like having me hydrate a bunch after my original surgery. And I like filled with pee basically. And like they had to get a catheter back in me. And there were like 6 different nurses trying to get the catheter in and it wouldn't work. And my friend was literally on the table, like basically like straddling me with her iPhone flashlight, like up my vagina, being like, you guys need to get someone in here. Like she needs to pee.
Oh
They
my
finally got a urologist in. he was like the sixth person to put a catheter in, and then that happened and I was like crying from relief. So she was like
Aw.
in the thick of it with me, went to like a ton of my, was just there. Um and then kind of like faded out after that, and that's just kind of one instance of that. It's happened throughout so many of my friendships where people have really known how to be there in the immediate chaotic emergent situations, and then as things kind of calm down they distance a little bit, and obviously like they're going back to their normal lives and stuff. But I think one thing I've also mentioned is grief is just so funny in the way that everyone else's lives move on,
Yeah.
and the person going through the traumatic event or the grief or whatever it is are still stuck in it, and it's still their reality. And so it can be really hard when you see everyone else moving on and continuing to hit milestones as a young adult, or do fun things or whatever, and you're still stuck where you are and feeling the reality of cancer and the fear and all of the elements that go into being diagnosed, and um, just what follows that. So I think what's been challenging for me with friends has just been maybe friends not really knowing how to treat me like a normal, quote unquote, normal friend, um, and follow through post surgery or post like whatever the most pressing situation's been. Like they'll show up for those, but I'm like, wait, in the meantime, I'm still a person. I want to be a friend. And I'm also still going through it. Like, unfortunately, it's my reality every day. And I've been in active treatment for 3 years. So I think it's easy to look at me and be like, oh, she seems good and healthy because my friends will see me in between treatment. But during treatment, I feel like absolute garbage shit and could use some support. So I think that's kind of the one thing I wish was a little bit different in certain friendships.
And can I be honest?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, as your friend and as a fellow cancer warrior, like something you've said to me before, and that was like, I'm still I still want to be your friend, like in between, right? And so like I feel you, and then I feel sort of the other side too, because like my wild ride life, like I would share some of it with you, and then sometimes I'd be like, I don't want to overwhelm her. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of this crazy stressful life I'm living, and you're like, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? So I think that is important. Like we still want to feel normal, we still want to be included, like, and I'm like, as your friend, it's actually like it's hearing you say it, it just reminded me, it's like I'm on both sides of the fence, right? And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and with that too, I totally hear you on that and agree with that. And along those lines, I also feel like um, I'll have to pull this up at some point because there's this newsletter that Andrea Gibson wrote, and it's about like still wanting to be needed during cancer.
Mhm.
And that's been something like I want my friends to come with me with their problems, their bullshit, like their boy problems, their women problems, like whatever. Like I want to hear all of that and still be the same friend. And I feel like it's been so much less of that because I think part of it is what you're saying. Like my friends don't want to burden me because I'm already going through this, but I'm like, no, I want to hear your problems. Like it gets
Yeah.
me out of my problems. And I want to
Yeah.
be a friend and a normal person and feel like a 30-year-old,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not like a
Yeah.
sick cancer patient, because while I am that sometimes, like I also am Olivia and I'm this
Right.
person that wants to, be included in everything. And
Know what's going on with everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come to
Yeah.
me with your problems.
Did you lose any friends after your diagnosis? And if so, what did that feel like?
I wouldn't say that I lost any friends. I will say I was surprised that certain people did not step up a little bit more or even reach out about it. I think I'm very like public about my cancer. Like I posted on social media, and there were some people I felt like had been in my life for a long time that like never reached out to really offer support, or they would kind of just be like, you know, the standard, like, let me know if you need something. And again, like to Olivia's point, like I'm not the type that's actually going to reach out and be like, hey, can you go do this for me? I think a much better approach is exactly what Olivia mentioned earlier, being like, hey, here's what I can do. Hey, like I'm going to the grocery
Yeah.
store. Can I grab you some snacks? I'll drop them off at your house. You're not obligated to hang out with me. I had a couple great friends do things like that. A friend went to the farmer's market, dropped off some fresh veggies. Like that was amazing. But there were people, especially who were like close in proximity to where I live, that I was just surprised never like offered to show up. um and so that just surprised me. But I think that the bonds that I did have of the people that did show up, like those grew a lot stronger. And so I'm grateful for those people. But like there were some people that made me sad that they never reached out. But I also think that like cancer is so triggering for a lot of people, and like health crisis is so triggering for a lot of people. So I understand it. But I also am just such an open person that I'm like, well, let's just talk about that. Like, let's just say, like, hey, I know you're going through this. Like, it's honestly a really hard topic for me, but like, here's what I can offer to do. Or like, maybe you can't offer to do anything. Just say, like, I'm thinking of you and I want you to know I'm thinking of you, but like, I can't offer anything more right now. And that's okay too. But I think anything would have been better than just like the radio silence.
Yeah. Bingo. Where's the button? You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So, I told you guys this would be a hard topic for me, but so I definitely lost friends throughout this journey. Lifelong friends. Um One in particular was like, because the second part of that question is how did it make you feel? That was like one of the biggest heartbreaks of my entire life. And yeah, and it was at the very beginning of the journey. And like, I think that there were things that like had been lingering in the friendship prior to the cancer, but it was like that person, like if I told that person literally like, oh, I want to be like this actually happened. I want to be a celebrity makeup artist. And it's like, you're going to do it and like help me, go make me think that I was going to actually be that. Right. So that person pretty much made me believe like I could do anything. And so like I needed that person to like make me believe that I was going to be okay. And so like the timing of that was like crazy. And like you said, like it was literally, I think like the last conversation was, I think maybe 2 days after my surgery, and I don't even remember it because I was, like, doped up, you know what I mean? Like, I was on medication and, um but, like, even if I think even if the relationship needed to end, like, the conversation, a civilized conversation, like, "I can't be here at this time," or this something, but yeah, like, I still that void there is massive because I don't understand exactly what happened, but the timing was awful. So yeah, that was really hard for me. Super hard way to kick this wild ride of a journey off without my very like best friend, like one of top 3, 4 most favorite people in the world, and I had to do it without that person. So, um, still love that person with all my heart, but yeah, it just not everything lasts forever, but it was just like the timing and the way it happened was like crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and then, some friendships were like really solid in the beginning and then kind of like faded off. And that I don't, for various reasons, right? And I'm not perfect in any of these situations, right? So I don't, anybody listening, like I'm not trying to come off like perfect Patty here at all. Like I played my role in my friendships, but I think like as we go on, and especially for me because like I never lost my hair, you know what I mean, like I look normal, right? So it's like, oh, you don't show up for me, but it's like I don't even leave my house 99% of the time because I like, so when I do have the energy and I give it to my kids, you know what I mean? So like can come across as not really a good friend because I don't really have the time, like the not the time, but the energy to go out and show up for other people. So it could seem like one-sided where it's like I'm expecting or wanting a friendship because we do want friends, right? But
Mhm.
my physical body, like I take 12 mitotane pills a day. I'm so exhausted. So I think that over time can kind of be like taxing on a friendship where it's like they're trying to give, but I don't really have much to give back. And this is like a long it's a marathon, you know what I mean? It's not a sprint. And so to be able to stick in that is not always the easiest.
I do relate to that too, because I think, until I had to do EDP in February, I spent like 2 years being stage 3, stage 4, but I still had my hair. I looked really healthy. And I think it can be confusing for a friendship or anyone in your life,
Yeah.
um, to kind of understand that you can look normal, seem relatively normal, and not feel normal or not feel good or feel sick or have side effects from medications, and also just have the fear of cancer instilled in you. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely relate to that. Like it not being seen, it not being a visible illness.
I also feel like, I don't know if you, I feel like there's a difference between us and a lot of other cancers where like there's also like I have a lot of friends in the cancer community, and so it's also been a challenge to like watch them finish treatments and
Mhm.
be done and be celebrating and ringing the bell and all this, and I'm so happy for them. But I
Yeah.
also feel like a lot of my friends, especially ones that like maybe don't know as much about cancer, like think that they assume that's my journey because that's most cancers, and they're like, oh, you're done, right? Because like my hair grew back, so they're like, so you're done, you have no tumors, right? And I'm like, no, I'm stage 4, like there's plenty of tumors still, like I'm a lifer in terms of treatment. And I think that's also really hard for friends too, because like what do you say to that? Like I don't know, like it sucks, but like we're all in this, so
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I never got to ring the chemo bell either. Like I finished treatment and everyone's like, "Yeah, you finished treatment." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I finished treatment, but it didn't work." So I
right.
didn't ring the bell. I didn't like, but I mean I still celebrated in my own way, just being done with it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is different.
We so badly want friendships and we want to be normal, but like we're just not there's a new normal with us. Like we're not always going to have the energy to like go out. Like the way
Yeah.
that we show friendship now is maybe just different. Like I used to travel a lot with my friends, and while I would love to do that, like there are some limitations there. I can't travel as much as I used to. Look, I traveled
Mhm.
last week and I'm here with COVID now because that's
Yeah.
what happens. So, like, you know what I mean? It's just like I have to be a lot more careful with things. And like, even when I do travel, it looks really different. So, um, yeah, I just think like having friends who understand all of that is so important.
Yeah.
And understand that it's like a learning curve, and we, at least for me, I feel like I was really intense about my expectations in the beginning, and now I'm a little more understanding of like, okay, you didn't really know how to deal with this. I get it. Like no one expected this on their like
Yeah.
2022 bingo card. Like it wasn't in the cards for anybody. So it's like I do feel like I have more grace at this point than I did in the beginning, and understanding that it's a learning curve, and also like how to communicate what we need, because it's hard to be super straightforward about what you need and how you want to be treated and what isn't working. And that's why I really value also our connection with each other and being able to
Yeah.
kind of bounce those things off each other, because you realize it's really like we all in one way or another have gone through these topics in relationships and how to deal
Yeah.
with
I
them.
mean, like for me, like my closest friends are you all and like my cancer friends because like we really just get understand it. Like I don't have to explain it to y'all. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like my mom friends because we have something in common and it's usually like quick interactions like play dates, sports, go out for pizza after, and then I get to go home and sleep. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not disappointing them because that's something that I can do and I have no choice. I have to show up for the boys. So yeah, that's what I've sort of like I guess my friend circle has changed. It's shifted. Just because like honestly, I too, I felt I got tired of feeling like a disappointment to my friends. You know what I mean? Like, um, so I just tried to like assess it and like understand like how they feel, and process how I was feeling, and then, you know, like move accordingly. So that's kind of how where I'm at like with my friendships.
I wouldn't say I lost any friendships. I feel like there was a couple coworkers and just people that didn't reach out or say anything that was a little bit hard, because of the closeness I had developed with them over the years. But I think in terms of friendships, my friends are pretty solid. I've also felt kind of similar to you, Mel, where like I have sort of friends in different groups, and then there at one point there was one just collective group text, which was really helpful for everyone kind of communicating and updating, but without me having to constantly be part of it. But I do think I had friendships kind of um, grow apart a little bit. So I've had friends where, sort of what I was talking about earlier, they were really there for a lot of the really hard times and then kind of distance themselves a little. And that's been a challenge in our relationship. But I still feel that even though that's happened in some of the friendships, that those people have continuously tried to keep some form of a relationship, and there's a lot of healing that's been going into those. So um, even with the one friend I mentioned earlier, it's kind of an ongoing conversation, and we're sort of trying to get back to where we were because she's been like a sister to me my entire life. And um, yeah, it's a challenge because I, like I was saying, I feel like I can have really high expectations of people and how I want them to show up, and I also have a lot of compassion for the fact that I've been in a really like moody and kind of like operating in fear place. So
Yeah.
I haven't been super rational, and I think that's something that's kind of developing for me now. And I hope that I continue to heal in those relationships because my friendships are, I'm a very relationship oriented person, and my friendships are like everything to me. So I don't feel like I've lost any friends, but I think there's better communication needed in some relationships to keep going forward so I don't get resentful.
Have you found it difficult to show up for your friends in the same way?
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think especially in the beginning, like everything triggered me pretty much. I'll just be honest. I think it was frustrating for everybody because it was like nobody could say the right thing, right? And that's just fear. That's what that is. And so I do want to mention that, so if people are listening and they're early in their diagnosis, they know like it does get easier and you are able to like rationalize a little bit more. I think therapy helped a lot with that too, of course. I feel like, I don't know. I've had such good friends, especially in crisis, just like literally fly across the country to like be with me when I was on chemo and to like sit next to me when I was in bed. And I hope that never happens to them and I never have to repay them in that same way. But I try to show up and I try to be a good friend and support them. I just don't think there's ever going to be anything that could compare to like what they did for me. It was like truly so selfless. And like I said earlier, I mean, this diagnosis is not one with like a start and an end to it, really, like this treatment. And so I'm still going through it. Like they still show up. Like if I need them to come to things, they'll still come. I'm a lot more independent now, so I don't feel like I need people like at every appointment. But like I'm in Los Angeles now, and I live close to one of my best friends, and she's like, "Yeah, if you need me there to go get your scan results with you, I'll be there. Like, I'll drive you, whatever you need." Like, and like I said, I hope they're never in that situation where I have to give the support. But of course, 1,000% I would. But yeah, I just don't know if there's really any way to ever compare to like what they've done for me.
I mean, I kind of already alluded to mine. I don't think that I don't have the capacity to show up, you know, in the with the same level of energy that I wish people would show up for me. And that's just like that's just part of me going through this. And honestly, it's weird because I feel like it got worse. Like it was pretty hard in the beginning, but I think like when shit hits the fan, people tend to like rally around you and then like life goes on, like Liv said. You know what I'm saying? And so like I think that's when it kind of got rough for me. Um and yeah, like I'm tired. Like I'm always tired. So I don't show up. I always flake on like events and things like that because it's not because I don't want to go. Like I'm still young and I never go out. I'm always in the house. Like this is it's pretty boring. But I mean, I love spending time with the kids, but I wish I did have the energy to get out. But like something someone told me not too long ago, and it's so simple, and I'm just like, well, damn, why didn't I think of that before? But it's like I can't have a conversation right now, but I'm just want to let you know that I'm thinking about you. Like could go a long way, right? And I wasn't doing that, you know what I mean? So I think if I would have done that differently, it wouldn't have come across so selfish. Like, hey, help me, or be there for me, but I'm always too tired to be there for you type situation. So yeah, I mean, I know the role I play in it, and like it's like I can fault myself, but then again, like I'm doing the best I can. There's like no manual for this, and we just have to go through it and learn as we go. And that's kind of like where I'm at, but yeah.
Well, I know you're referencing like your personal friends, not your cancer friends, but as one of your cancer friends who's turned into like a real life friend too, I can say I think you're a great friend. I mean, obviously, like we live in separate states, so we're not like making plans to hang out all the time, but like I know you have a lot going on between being a mom, having cancer, running a nonprofit, having a job, and like the list goes on and on. And like I know you'll always pick up the phone if I need you. So
Thank you.
I think I think we have to give ourselves some grace too and know that like the way that we give friendship or like the way that we show friendship is just a little different, and it's not because of lack of desire. Like we
Right.
want to be good friends. We do. And we're giving what we have.
Yeah, and like honestly, like you said something that's so true. I actually like most of the friendships that kind of like trailed off happened when I started the nonprofit. Literally, because like I threw my whole life, my heart and my soul and every minute of my day. Like y'all know the chat be jumping at like 5 a.m. like Easter. And so what is that for you West Coasters? Like
2 a.m.
insane. But like I'm like, we're just like so I and all of us were like so immersed in it and still are, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I'm unapologetically like busy, right? Because that's the thing that like helped me find a drive and like a purpose in all of this
Yeah.
shitty disease. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sorry, but not sorry, right? Because I have to live. Like it before the nonprofit, like I was down pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like I was not well. And so, yeah, like of course, if I find something that eases this pain, it's like a drug, you know what I mean? Like I just want it all the time. And so that's where the majority of my time went. And so I'm sure to people that are not involved in the nonprofit and understanding how hardcore the trap you jump in, like it comes across as like, oh, you got this going on, you're on the news now and you don't want to talk to me, but it really has nothing to do with that. It's like really just I found something that made it feel better, and like I poured everything and still do. Like I want to pour my life into it for the long haul. So that's a really good point, because that is honestly, now thinking back, where some of the other friendships started to like trail off a little bit.
Mhm. And you
Oh,
gave a lot of other people a purpose, myself included. So like just know that. Like you were helping yourself, but you're also helping like so many people. So
Yeah.
I've also seen your text message like icon, and you have like what, like 100 plus unread
Yeah.
texts at a time.
Yeah.
So I've learned that to contact Hope, you have to just continuously text her or call her.
Right. Today, when we were like making sure like we're all gonna be on. Like Olivia's like outside of our group chat. She's like, "Hey, and by the way, just want to make sure in case you don't open the group chat, we're shooting or whatever this is called at this time today." Like I was like,
Because she has pinned my messages because I
"Yeah,
got on here about not
yeah."
answering. Shit, I have to pin this so that I see your text.
Like, listen, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm pinning you, okay? Because, like, seriously, yeah, the text be crazy. And so I think I screenshotted something one time and like sent it to Liv, and she was like, oh, look how many unread text message you have. Like, that's crazy.
I think mostly it's that people are trying to give me the space and not burden me with their stuff. So I feel like I'm here to be as supportive as I was, but I don't know that I've had the same opportunity because I feel like I get treated a little bit differently. Not that it's a negative thing, but I feel like people don't call me the same way that they used to with their problems. That it varies friend to friend. My best friend just had a baby, so I'm also like adjusting to her being a new mom and like not dumping all of my like literally I would text her every day, like whether I have like a bowel movement or
Yeah.
go to the grocery store or whatever. So that's a big
Shout out to
adjustment.
her. We love the little baby.
Oh my god, she's so
So
cute.
cute.
Um that's a huge adjustment. She's still like very much part of my life, but it's yeah, I feel like I'm here to be similar as I was in friendship, but yeah. So I wanted to read this one part of Andrea Gibson's article that they wrote. They have since passed, but their wife is continuing on the newsletter. It's really, really beautiful. But this one part is a little segment about their friends bringing them problems from their lives. I won't read all of it, but it's really good. But they wrote, being the one who always needs help but isn't asked to give it started to make me feel like a ghost in my own life. I didn't want to be just a patient. I wanted to be a person who reminded my friends of their wholeness, who made them realize how capable they were of facing their own pain. And I feel like that is just super in line with what I'm talking about, just wanting people to come to me with their stuff, and it's not a burden, and I want to be a friend. And so I guess to any of my friends out there or other friends, I mean, this just varies. It's so individual what people want, but I want to still be a friend. I want people to come to me with their trivial mundane life stuff. That helps me. It makes me feel better, and it makes me feel needed.
And it's a great distraction.
It's a
Yeah, I
great
was gonna say
distraction.
that.
It's a
Yeah,
great.
I was gonna say that. Like I've like my some of my friendships like are pretty much like phone friendships, but like that's what you talk about for hours on the phone, or you know what I mean, like what's going on, drama, like the juice, whatever things happening in your life, like that's good for us. It's a good distraction on the days like we can't like get out, but maybe we could just like chat on the phone. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's been helpful for me in friendships. How do you feel different from people your age?
I mean, I feel pretty different. I'm trying not to feel that way. I have a lot of FOMO. Like I want to do all the normal things and I want to go out and have fun, but yeah, I'm a lot more tired. I'm definitely more introverted than I was. Um yeah, I don't know. I feel like I miss out on a lot of events and things, and even just I guess milestones. That's been a hard one for me cuz like a lot of my friends are in the stage of getting married and having kids, and those are things that I have wanted for myself, so that's been kind of challenging to think about, um like the conversation of kids when that comes up. I don't know when and if that will be something that I'm able to have happen in my life. So yeah, I think the things that are swirling in my head, and then I see other people or I talk to other people my age, and I feel like there's just not the same um constant thought of mortality and health and doctors, and just like the my whole life is just healing right now. Like it's literally my full-time job, and it's not necessarily a fun one. And even careers, like I feel like I've missed out on having a career because I haven't worked for 3 years. And when I was working 3 years ago, I was, like saving, basically doing serving jobs and customer service jobs so that I could go to nursing school. And all of that has shifted for me. Like my whole path has just shifted a lot. So I think, yeah, I think I feel pretty set apart from people my age. It's not to say that I don't get along with people my age. I don't think, I mean, if this hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't be thinking about any of these things either. So it definitely kind of sets you apart, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, it's pretty much everything Olivia said, minus the kid part, right? But just like, so for me, uh, I live in like a constant state of fear, right? So I feel like that's mentally exhausting. Aside from like the physical part, like, I don't know, like I do like look at my friends or like on social media, and I'm like, everyone's like living their life, and it seems like they're like so carefree and like they're outside and like, you know what I mean? Like having so much fun. And for me, like I'm physically tired, right? So even when I go out, like I'm tired and I'm ready to go home, or like my mind is preoccupied with other things. Um yeah, and so I guess that's for me like how I feel like set apart from people my age, you know what I mean? Like I obviously have the kids that consume me, but yeah, like I just feel like I'm yeah, I'm just, and I'm very like, where I used to be very extroverted, like I'm actually like in my daily life, like I've sort of created like this little bubble, and like I've learned to just like exist in this bubble, and it's like it's just me and like whoever's here in my house, you know what I mean? Like so yeah, like I'm not really, I used to be like more social, put I guess. And now I just kind of just do my thing, my daily thing with, my kids, and yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's like good or bad. Like if that was a good explanation, I don't know. But that's just kind of how I feel, just kind of isolated, I guess.
I feel like for me, I feel very different from people my age. I mean, when I was diagnosed, you guys know I moved home and lived with my mom. So I felt like I'm at the age where people are expecting me to like have babies. Like I remember going to appointments and they'd be like, "Do you have children?" And I'm like, "I'm the child." Like my parents are literally taking care of me right now. Like I am in no place to have a child right now. So props to you, Hope, because I don't know how you've done it all. Because I truly, for like, I would say for the first 2 years of my diagnosis, I felt like a child again. Um, and now I would say like living on my own, like I do feel a lot different, a lot more independent, but like there are a lot of limitations. And like this is fresh on my mind because I've been at my company for 6 years. I've never traveled for work. I've never even met anybody from my company in person. And this last week I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. Like I'll go. It was in San Francisco. So I was like, it'll be, not far away, like quick and easy. I have friends in the area. Olivia's there. Like I was like, I know there's people I can reach out to if I need somebody. And literally like they had like all these like events after, so it was a conference, so there would be all these events after the conference, and like we're talking like we're going from 8 to 5 every day, and then you're going out. Like I work in tech. I used to do that in my 20s. I would be at all the happy hours and do all the things, and like I was like, I'm gonna go back to the room, I'm gonna get some DoorDash, and I'm gonna be asleep by 7. And I think people think I'm joking, and then I have to like remind people like I have cancer, I'm on treatment, like I don't have 8 to 5 energy on a normal basis. So like being around people all day and talking all day, like I don't have any more to give after that. So I definitely like just life looks different now. And like, yeah, I definitely feel different. Like I feel different than other people. At work, my team knows about my cancer, but outside of my team, I don't really talk about it. And so I always want, like, this was my first time like meeting people. And I'm like, I wonder like if they're like, oh, why isn't she coming to anything else or like whatever? But it's just, that's life. Everybody has things going on. But then, funny story, I was visiting with another friend this weekend up in Sausalito, and she has two kids, and we were like laying on the couch getting ready to watch Madagascar, like family movie night. And it was 7:30, and I heard her go to her fiance, "Oh, Mel's asleep." And her fiance goes, "It's 7:30." But I was like too tired to even like defend myself. And I woke up the next day at like 8 a.m. and they were already up. And I was like, "I heard you guys talking about me." Like, it's just how I am. Like, I'm gonna, if whether or not I'm able to go out, like, I'll try to go out, but I'm probably gonna fall asleep really early. Like, luckily I was on their couch at that time, but like, doesn't matter where I am. If I'm tired and I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
sleep. So it's just, that's life with cancer and being on treatment, unfortunately.
I feel like that's like the like those are the pros of having cancer friends. Cause like Mel, when you came over, like when you
Yeah.
were in Maryland, we're like, we ordered Thai, we ate, and we're like, yeah, we're tired. Like it
Time
was,
for bed.
you know what I mean? There's no explanation, nothing needed. Like it's just we're looking at each other like, yeah, it's about that time. Like, and so that's like the beauty of like meeting cancer friends and people in the communities because we get each other. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of the opposite because I'm a night owl. I've always been a night owl, but it's really funny. Like after treatment, I'm always fighting sleep, and I don't know why. I just like don't just go get in my bed, but I will like always fall asleep on the not the floor, but like there's like a floor bed or the couch, just like sitting up, and my boyfriend will like have to wake me up and send me to sleep. But yeah, it's an interesting adjustment. I think that's part of me too, like fighting to want to be this person that I was and like stay up late and be this night
Yeah.
person. And my body's like, no, you have to go to sleep. Like I will put you to sleep sitting up. But it's such an adjustment. It's like it's hard to miss those parts of yourself. And I think part of it is just going from like 20s to 30s. But
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Yeah.
yeah, because I was thinking like a lot of my friends go to bed earlier than I do. But I think part of it is aging, and then part is you throw in treatment on top of that, and we're exhausted.
Period. Yeah, and I'm like pushing the 40 mark, so yeah. It's probably a little bit of all of it for me.
Like everyone wants really different things in their relationships and friendships, and um, hopefully this gives our three perspectives, but also just to know that however you feel um, is okay and probably will change over time since you're from your diagnosis. But I think that if you have accessibility to therapy, that's a really good place to work through anything regarding relationships, and also just kind of keeping track of what works for you and how you need people to show up, and trying your best to communicate that really clearly to the people in your lives. Like, this is what really helps me. When you do this is really helpful. I mean, even saying the opposite, like I've had a friend that I've found that she will sometimes text me a question that feels really personal, and then I'll answer and she won't respond for days. And for some reason, that really irks me. So that's something that I've had to be really clear on. Like, please only ask me those things when you have the time to hear them. So I think just really finding what works for you and what feels good, and doing your best to communicate that. And just knowing that everyone's so different.
Yeah.
We all have different preferences, and on the friend side too, asking your friend. I got a text from Mari the other day. She literally was like, "How can I support you with this trip that you're going on to Texas? And like, I know you have chemo next 5 days next week. Like, what can I do that feels the most supportive to you?" And I know we were saying, like offer, but even something like that is really helpful, because I was like, actually 5 days a week, I'm not going to be able to take my dog out for walks. So any help that you can give there, even if it's just like walking him down the street or whatever. So I think from the friend perspective, making sure that you're asking those questions to your friend or loved one or whoever it is with cancer, like, how can I show up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like basically wrapping that up is like on the friend side is asking like specific questions, and then on our side like articulating what works best for us, because neither of us, like neither side really knows what we're doing. So like
Yeah.
communication skills. Yeah.
And if your friend or loved one has kids, maybe offering to take them to get
Ice cream.
yogurt.
Showing up doesn't have to be like this big thing of like, I got you this, or like, we're
Yeah.
going out and doing this. Sometimes I just like wanted somebody to come over and like rot in bed with me.
Yes,
Yes.
Like
100%.
Oh my
my
God,
close
yes.
friends, like that I'm comfortable with, I was like, just come over and lay with me for a little bit. Like sometimes that's nice, and like I don't feel like getting up or doing anything, but do you want to just come lay next to me? Like sometimes that's so nice.
It's the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah.
I wish we all lived closer because we could all just like
I know.
lay in bed all day and
Great. It would be great. Yeah, I do have like one friend that I'll call her. She's also a mom, so it works because the kids will go out and play or whatever. But like I can call her anytime and I'm like, hey, want to come over? But there's never any expectations. It's just like we're chilling. I might cook. We may order food, but we're literally gonna do nothing, sit, laugh, watch TV.
Yeah.
That's my type of vibe nowadays. Have you made new friends within the cancer community? And do you feel that there's a niche area of understanding from them that you may not be able to find in your other friendships? Yes, on three, ladies. One, two, three. Yes.
Yes. I've made a lot. It's really weird. Like when you're diagnosed, like I said, I shared like on social media when I was diagnosed, and I had a lot of people reach out to me who had like recently been diagnosed, that I knew from like different parts of my life. So it was like friends that I always had, like became also my cancer friends, which that was really nice because it was like they knew me before and they know me now too. Um, and and then of course obviously meeting my ACC friends, you all of course, like yeah, there's with our cancer especially, like there's just going to be things that you guys get that nobody else understands, because we're dealing with the cancer side, we're also dealing with adrenal insufficiency, hormone changes, all of it. And not that other cancers can't relate, but it's just there's a lot of, I guess I didn't even realize before cancer that like there's so many different types of chemo, even there's so many different types of immunotherapy, there's different types of radiation. And so like I know a lot about our cancer, so I'm able to like have conversations with you all about your cases. But like I have a lot of friends in the breast cancer community, and I'm like still trying to wrap my head around that because there's like so many different types of breast cancer. There's so many different types of treatments. There's different types of surgery options. And like, yeah, so everything's different. I think for me, having a cancer community has been key. I think in the beginning, I was really hesitant to have a cancer community. I was really scared of it. But now I can't imagine my life without it. I can't imagine like being on this journey without people who really get it. And with or without cancer, I can't imagine my life without you all and like some of the other cancer friends I've met who I feel we'd be friends regardless of whether or not we had cancer. So, like, I'm so grateful for my cancer friends.
I've certainly made so many friends in this cancer community. Like I said earlier, like actually, like the majority of my friends are cancer friends. And part of that is because of the nonprofit, because I'm so immersed in it, but then also because like you guys are like some of the most amazing people I've ever met, truly. And it's like I think about it, I'm like, damn, this sucks. Like these are great people. Like this, it really truly sucks. But like, yeah. So I've made a lot of friends, and I think one of the things for me is like the ability to relate, but then like we carry like this like fear of impending doom, right? And so like that's kind of hard for people on the outside to continue to hear. Like nobody wants to hear about that forever, you know what I mean? And like in my case, people think, oh, you're fine now, like you beat it. And I'm like, yeah, no, like that's not how this cancer works. So like being able to like be friends and talk about life and sex and relationships with you guys, but also being able to be like, I'm so fucking scared, like the scan, this, that, like, and not to feel like I have to hide that part or like omit that part of the conversation or how I feel just because like they're not, in my shoes is really, really nice. So I think that's like for me, like such a huge plus in having like this cancer community. And I, just like you, Mel, like I can't even imagine this journey without the cancer community. Um, and I've been like since day one, like latching onto this community so hard, like super hard, because I was like grasping for like stories, and like I'm also like a very curious person, and I wanted to like research everybody's story and how it unfolded and where it started and all of the things. And that's kind of like what drew me in. But then I started meeting people and I'm like, wow, like they get me and like they understand. And like Emerald like made me feel like I was gonna be okay, you know what I mean? And like that there were so many stage like steps, you know, like she was like, "You're just at step 1, like don't worry," you know what I mean? So so many wonderful people that helped me get through and just to be able to like function again, that I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else outside of this community. So like forever grateful for this. And like you said, like you meet people that you're like, we'd be friends anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool.
Well, and I was just thinking how you were saying how we're kind of operating on the, like the impending doom factor 24/7. And I also think with that, at least for me, has come like a really like dark humor that I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people don't understand. And I'm like, I am living with this all day, every day. Like, I have to find a way to laugh at it. I have to find a way to like make it funny and lighter and carry it in a different way. And I think that also is hard for some people to understand.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
everyone. I feel like my friends are good at taking my dark humor and might have it themselves, but some random people that you meet, I've definitely found that I can maybe put people off with the way that I talk about it. But it's like that's how I live with it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I feel
For
like a lot of people in the cancer community have a lot of humor around.
yeah.
Yes.
Because like
There's
what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And like we've all said with like ACC, it just does it never stops. Everyone's like, "Oh, so when are you gonna come off the mighty time?" I'm like, I don't even know. Like there's no end date. Like and for you, like you're a lifer, like you said, Melinda, and then Olivia, you're trying to find treatment options. Like this shit goes on forever, it feels like. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, and
um,
I guess for people who don't know, we have a very high recurrence rate. Um,
yeah.
very, very high that it will come back.
one thing I also wanted to add, which is I think true for the cancer community, and also I think something that separates us from people our age. And maybe this is something you get with, you learn with age too, but I also feel like, and I know you all will both relate to this, like I have very low tolerance for bullshit anymore and like fake people and fake friends. So like yes, I do feel like I'm very blessed to have like a good solid group of friends, but that I think is also because I've learned to know very quickly and very early on when somebody is not for me. And I have no problem like calling people out on stuff anymore because like I am so stressed about like big things going on in my life. Like I don't have time to stress about like you're talking about me, like bye. Like please don't be in my life anymore. Don't join my fan club. Goodbye. Like I don't need to tolerate that. You don't have to like me, but then don't be in my life. Like that kind of yes, she says yes. Um,
I was like, I don't know how to do the S, but yes.
No, because I do feel like in the cancer community, that is something I've noticed across the board. Like we all, like, I don't want to say like great people get cancer, but it seems like that. And I think part of that is because you grow so much when you get cancer because you learn what's important and what's not important. And what's not important is like talking shit about other people and like having people in your life that are
Yeah.
doing that to you. Like, there's no time for that. Life's too short. Be around the people that support you and love you and wish the rest of them well. But like, I don't have the energy to spend on them.
Even like for me, like everything you just said 100%. Let's play it again and again and again. But like
Mhm.
even for me, like there are certain things or people, relationships that like I can't say farewell, nor do I want to, but knowing when it's time to put it on ice for a minute, like, and it's
Mhm.
okay. You know what I'm saying? Like Yeah, like that's been like a big learning experience for me. Is knowing when to just put the brakes on something for a little bit, because like you said, like, and then like you said too, when to say farewell to certain things also, because we have like, there's no data on this, but like in my mind, like the adrenal gland is responsible for like your body's response to stress. And so like stress is like has no place. And I'm already stressed, single mom and all that jazz, but like I can't afford to stress about like the frivolous stuff anymore. I just
Right.
can't. I can't do it. Right or wrong, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I just got to take a break or cut you off.
I totally agree. And I think that getting cancer is kind of fast tracks you into growth that maybe you
Yeah.
didn't ask for. But I agree with what you were saying, Mel, of just like, I think it really pushes you to grow in ways that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think one of those is really realizing what's important and what's not, and what you want to be part of and what you don't. And I don't know, the bullshit just kind of fades away. You're like, why did I ever do this or that? And I think that's just been a huge part of these past few years of being diagnosed, is figuring that out. And
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
we don't have time.
Yes.
I'm going to get a real yes.
You just need to put one of those yes
Because I'm like
buttons.
this. I just noticed I'm shaking my head
Nodding.
all the whole time you guys are talking. I'm like, yes. Yes. So I'm just gonna hold up my sign. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really just key to make sure you're surrounding yourself with energy that aligns with yours. And similarly to what you were saying about, like, if you don't want to be in my fan club, then bounce. But it's also like, if you don't fit in my life and energetically it's not working, like, that's also a good time to maybe look at your relationships and make sure you have people in your life that make you feel good. Because I really think healing is just, you have to be surrounded by good energy, and
Mm.
you can't have the bullshit and the negativity in there. It's only going to hinder your healing process. So I've been reading Radical Remission, and I'm just so
Oh,
inspired by all of the stories of these
Yeah.
people that um get through, beat cancer, whatever you want to call it. And a huge part of that is like not repressing emotions, not letting people in your life that are going to bring you down, and creating boundaries, but also like letting people in. So it's such a balance of all these things, but I really think it's so crucial to our health. And I
Yeah.
wish I had known those things before I got cancer, or
yeah.
maybe I did, I just didn't implement them. But
Yeah.
I think it becomes, because I knew those things before cancer, but something happens, like a trigger went off where it just became really a lot easier. Where I
yeah,
was like, even spending time doing things I don't really want to do, I'm like, I don't want to go to that. And if somebody's like, well, why? I'm like, that's just not how I want to spend my time. Like, you become so much more aware of like the fact that your time is so precious.
100%.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Talk Cancer to Me. Friendships aren't always easy, especially after a diagnosis, but the people who show up can make all the difference. We hope this conversation helps you feel seen and maybe even spark some reflection on the role of friendship in your own life. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Wherever you're listening, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you.